something nobody could have possibly imagined. But first things first. I've never been out of Tulsa before. I wonder what it would be like. I've never known anybody to leave. Most people get stuck here for life. My brother could have been a football star. People say he had a ticket out. My other brother suffers from a broken heart, from a girl he loved to up and moved away. We got no parents, we fend for ourselves. There's no one to show us the way. My brothers are trying, but they're always out, just working their poor lives away. My name is Pony Boy, the youngest of the three. I know there's so much more to life than what's in front of me. So I sneak into the movies just to glimpse the other side. Rather take a risk and see it than to never even try. When I am looking up at Newman's on the screen, the entire world just melts away. And for a moment I'm not worried about a thing. I just sit back and let the movie start to play. But like in the movies and the books I like to read, nothing in this town plays out the same. Tell me it was different back when we could all agree. Somewhere down the line we lost our way. It makes us to go, we had things to do, so they took one town and they split it in two. All the money went away, kicked the grease to the east. The train ran down the belly of the beast. Here we are, now I'm talking to you. When I get to the end, tell me what you would do in a town that's torn in two. What's a grease upon these sides supposed to do? This is Tulsa, 1967. And there's just one thing you need to know. You got research associates, that's how it's always been. And that's probably how it's always gonna go. There's another side of Tulsa that I hardly ever see. It's like some kind of fairy tale land. The grass is always greener and the streets are always clean. All the girls are pretty there and all the guys are mean. We call them socials cause they live like socialites. Barbecues and graduation days, with better clothes and better cars and better lives. Just one town, two very different ways. And over on the east side, the story's not the same. Another rundown building, another broken window pane. Cars no longer running, sitting idle in the yard. Building up the west side while the east side falls apart. And that right there is my best friend in the world, Johnny Cave. Just last week, some associates beat the living hell out of him. He hasn't been the same since. This town can only hold you down, there's judgment everywhere. People think they know you by the way you wear your hair. If you're not born into money, then you're born into despair. And they'll do all that they can to keep your poor ass there. We gave ourselves a name cause we don't have a lot. We stick together cause each other's all we got. We take a lot of pride in how we grease our hair. People look us up and down, and we don't even care. 'Cause we're greasers, making something have to turn around. I could hear the Corvette before I saw it. That engine was like a lion roaring on one of those nature shows, and I was the antelope. All I could think of was Johnny Cage's face and what those bastards did to him.
How many times do we have to tell you to stay the hell out of our movie house? The Rialto is on the west side, and you do not belong there. You've been warned twice, Greaser. 3 strikes, you're out!
You got nothing to say?
I just wanted to see the movie. Cool Hand Luke isn't playing on the east side.
Well, that's not our problem. Is that your problem, Chet?
Not my problem, Bob.
Is that your problem, Trev?
It's not my problem.
It's a pony boy problem, right, Paul? Maybe he doesn't like being a greaser. I think I'm right. I think he actually despises being a greaser. And I'm feeling generous, boys. I think we ought to help him out. Woo. You want to be a pony boy?
Yeah, let's make him one of us.
And what's the first step in that noble process? We gotta clean him up a little.
Don't!
And I say we start with that hair! Cut that hair!
Cut that hair! Cut that greasy greaser's hair! Cut that hair! Cut that hair! Cut that greasy greaser's hair! Cut that hair!
That little roof rat bit me!
Pony boy!
I don't remember much after that. The thing about being knocked unconscious.
Wake up, pony boy. Come on. Jesus Christmas, go easy on him, Daryl. When I want my kid brother to tell me what to do with my other kid brother, I'll ask you, kid brother.
These are my 2 brothers, Daryl and Soda Pop. Since we lost our parents, Daryl had to take over. He used to have a lot more fun. He hardly ever smiles anymore. And Soda, on the other hand, smiles all the time, even when he probably shouldn't.
Pony boy, what'd you do to piss off the socials?
I didn't do nothing.
You were probably on the west side again, weren't you?
It's the only place they're showing that new Paul Newman movie.
You and your goddamn movies. You know those bastards would be waiting for you.
Was it Bob? When you close your eyes, do you see lightning? But don't worry, that'll go away in a couple hours.
Pony boy's a goddamn warrior, ain't it, Ace?
Hell yeah, he's a warrior.
That's Dallas Winston. He's originally from the streets of New York City. Every wolf pack has its alpha, and ours was Dally. He had just gotten out of county lockup.
Hey, when'd you get out of the cooler, Dolly?
A couple of days ago. Been over at Buck Merrill's. He gave me a room above the bar.
What'd they nab you for this time?
For being too goddamn handsome. They get any of his hair?
Untouched.
They can bust up your face and pull your ears clean off your head, but if they cut your hair, you might as well throw in the towel.
Got one of their hubcaps.
That's 2 Big Matthews. He's the resident prankster of the group. But you don't want to fight that kid. No, you don't want to do that.
Bag of frozen peas. Hold it to your face until it melts. Ain't it, Steve?
Yeah, bag of frozen peas.
Or lima beans.
And don't touch it too much.
You know it's getting better when it starts to itch. How's his hair?
It's about to be legendary.
I look like I got hit by a truck.
A truck full of pussies.
Hey, let's grease him up! I guess that's your decision, huh, Dally?
It's a greaser decision, Daryl. Pony boy just knocks his first knockout.
He's 14 years old.
What the hell does age have to do with it? Only God and the devil know what I was doing when I was 14.
You ain't the one paying my brother's doctor bills.
You used to keep your hair greased 24/7, Daryl.
Yeah, before he almost went social on us.
Oh, Daryl never went so.
Too big, you got your grease.
No.
Hear ye, hear ye! As the goopiest, gooeyest, grimiest grease in the land lubricates our finest automobiles, assembly lines, and fried chicken dinners. Let it be known that Pony Boy Curtis of the east side of Tulsa, Oklahoma is about to be officially lubed up and added to the ranks of greasers all over the globe. Pony Boy, I think it's time you learn that grease isn't given, it's something that you earn. Some of us are smooth like James Dean. Some of us are cold and a little more mean. Time to be tough and quick on your feet. There ain't no way a boy can make it out on the street unless you mean as a fighter and you're sharp as a blade. Play it cool, little brother, and you'll have it made. No, we ain't got money, but we got something to prove. Yeah, you're a greaser now and you ain't going back. You're an eastbound train or the greaser track. Let it be known that the grease got a hold on you. Getting a licking, not giving a shit cause you're tough on the chin. March for your reputation because if you lose it then you'll never win. Easy to even the score when the soldiers come at you with all that they got. Hey, you're an animal, and you got stamina, ears embracing your lot.
No, it's not about getting your licks. It's about licking your guests.
Hey!
Chicks love a busted up face. G's for getting the girls every time cause you got a resistible charm. Promise for reeling them in and then keeping the prettiest one in your own. E's for effortless swagger, a kind that the ladies can never deny. Hyper effective, but not too selective, and E's for catching the eye. Ain't that right, Ace?
It ain't just about busting heads and chasing tail. Sometimes you gotta stop and smell the moral.
Show us how it's done, and Einstein.
I may not be the sharpest sack in the box. I'm a latchkey key, but they keep changing the locks. I ain't no sweet talking Romeo, but I can fight. You better bet your eyes. Play me as a fighter and the sharpest blade. Play cool, little brother, and you'll have it in me. No, we ain't got money, but we got something to prove. You're a greaser now, ain't we going back? You're an eastbound train on a greaser track. Let it be known that the grease got a hold on you.
Being a greaser is playing your hand even when there's no way you can win. It's proving them wrong even when they decided the winner before you begin. It's about overcoming and beating the odds. It's fighting for all that you got. There'll always be halves, and you better be sure that the halves will make sure you have not. So Pony Boy, I think it's time you learn. What? You wanna be James Dean? You're gonna crash and burn. You gotta set your sights on something more. You wanna be a fighter, then know just what you're fighting for. Speaking of which, I gotta go pick up my paycheck. You make sure he gets his ass home, Soda. Straight home.
I love you so bad.
You wanna be tough, you better listen to me. I've seen it all, I've lived a life on the street. I'll teach you everything you need to know how to survive. You're a grease for life.
Play me as a fighter and be sharp as a blade. Play it cool, little brother, and you'll have it in me. No, we ain't got money, but we got something to prove. You're a greaser now, and you ain't going back. You're an eastbound train on a greaser track. Let it be known that the grease got a hold on you. Let it be known that the grease got a hold on you.
Brother, now it's there to stay.
Let it be known that
Hard to believe in less than a year how it all fell apart. I found myself here. I had different plans, I had places to go. It all felt so sure. But what the hell did I know? So I dropped out of school cause I had to earn $1. Now I'm stuck between the role of a brother and a father. Some people told me that I threw it all away. Now I wonder if they're right at the end of the day. driving tomorrow night.
Who you going with?
Johnny and Two-Bit.
Dally gonna be there too?
Probably, yeah.
I know you look up to him like he's king shit, but you gotta be careful around him, pony boy.
Can I go?
Okay, but make sure to be home by curfew.
I will.
And go wash that damn grease out of your hair. Either way, I'm losing. No matter which way I go, I don't know what the boys would ever do without me. And what would I do on my own? I'm trying to keep things moving, but there's nowhere left to go. We were damned from the beginning. Now we're waiting for the final blow. For one last thing to show. It runs in the family.
Why did Daryl hate me so much?
Oh, Daryl doesn't hate you, pony boy. That's crazy. He was the first one there after the socials got to you.
He doesn't ride you like he rides me.
Just because he don't expect much from me. When he hollers at you, he don't mean nothing. He just got more worries than some of his age ought to. He's proud of you. Because you're so brainy.
He's got a funny way of showing it.
You still reading that dang book? What's it about?
This orphan kid named Pip who falls in love with a rich girl. And there's this pretty tough outlaw character who takes him under his wing.
Isn't any good?
Yeah, it's good.
How many pages is it?
544.
544 fucking pages? That would take me 10 years to read. Another sucker falls in love with a rich girl, huh? Poor bastard.
Sometimes you say her name in your sleep.
I do.
Yeah. And you sound real sad. Like how animals get sad. Are you still in love with her?
I'm tired, pony boy. And after everything that happened to you today, you should be too. Man, for a second there, I was scared for you. I thought those socials were gonna permanently maim that handsome face of yours. Get some rest, huh? Seems like you never sleep anymore.
I keep having this dream about him.
Who?
Mom and Dad.
Is it a scary dream?
Sorta, yeah. They're in the car, Dad's driving. Patsy Cline's on the radio. Mom's singing along to it. It's that song about falling to pieces. They got the windows rolled down. There's a breeze. And they have no idea what's about to happen.
Hey, I miss him a lot.
Did you ever dream about him?
I mostly dream about flying saucers and hamburgers. And sometimes, Anne Margaret is serving the hamburgers. Yeah, I'm signing off now, okay? Rest that beautiful brain of yours. You're the Curtis family's last hope.
Excuse me, Mr. Dickens. I've got something on my mind. I've
tried, but I can't seem to let it go. Lately I've been thinking about that little orphan boy whose parents died and left him all alone. Then an outlaw came one fateful day, while standing at his parents' grave, and offered him another way to climb. And I wonder, is that orphan story mine? All these great expectations meet these grave revelations. Am I the one in control? Is it all predetermined? Am I playing a role? Part of a story foretold. Daryl was on his way up in the world. Everyone knew he'd go far. Life came along and had different plans. How quickly a dream falls apart. Johnny has no kind of chance in this world, not from where he's at the start. Who knows how far in this life he could go if he played a different part. I look around at all of my friends and still I feel alone. I would follow them to battle, but their story's not my own. They say there's strength in numbers, but they never think it all about a path that leads you out beyond these city walls. I've got torn between what is and what could be. It's hard to write the story when the story is writing me. When this great expectation meets this grave revelation, maybe this cover's not yours. When your book's full of creases and you see that the grease is telling a story, but you've read that one before. So you fight just to show them that you're not all the same. That under the cover there's more.
Johnny Cakes,
Hey, Dad.
you okay?
Yeah, I'm cool.
Parents going at it again? You can't go in, huh?
No, but I can't leave either. So I'm afraid he's gonna kill her.
So you gonna sleep out here?
Tonight I am.
You don't got no blanket?
I'm warm enough. Thanks.
Hungry? Huh? Got a Hershey bar.
I'm okay.
Just take it. You really think he might do it like that? You need me to go in there? Here. Just in case. You hold it like this. If you're gonna use it, you really gotta use it. There ain't no turning back. You force it in there with all your might. You hear me? Trust me. I know. Driving tomorrow night, ain't it? Me, you, and Pony Boy? Get some sleep.
The night the double driving was a pretty tough hangout. Kids went there to make out and blow off steam. Greasers and socials. I didn't know it at the time, but this would be the night that I would meet the one and only Cherry Downs.
When the week is over and school is out, Friday at the drive was really about. Feeling kind of crazy, baby, how about you?
I stole the caddy from my daddy, stole his liquor too.
Oh, pretty girl getting all dolled up. Maybe ladies thirsty coming through your cup. Friday at the drive is what we do.
I got my best girl and some others too.
Oh, double feature playing tonight. My girls will be here looking alright. Friday at the drive is quite a sight.
Got a cool hand Luke to keep you warm tonight.
Got no more stress than flirting me. No more teachers pet trigonometry. Well, the week is through and there ain't nowhere to time it. Friday at the drive-in.
Cherry. Psst. Cherry. Hey, Cherry. You hear them cicadas earlier? The way they were surging? They say you can tell how hot it's gonna get by how loud the cicadas are.
Just ignore him.
Romance, ain't it? So many songs been written about it. And poems. And like sonnets.
Sonnets are poems.
You're so exactly right. Sonnets and poems. Same species.
Genre.
Genre. Correct again. Shakespeare and Percy Sledge. What's going on, Cherry? You too good for me or something? Too high and mighty to talk to a greaser?
Can't you take a hint? She's not interested.
Let her speak for herself. Ugh. Why don't you tell me why they really call you Cherry?
Come on, Dal. Take it easy on it.
Who the hell does he think he's talking to? Have you lost your damn mind?
She's just sitting there minding her business.
Is that what she's doing? She's just sitting there minding her business? I bet all the money in my pocket, she's not that innocent. She might look a certain way, but don't be fooled. Look at you. Pretty as an oil painting. In your creamy white cashmere sweater. Soft, ain't it? You probably got it at that big fancy department store over on East 5th Street. You probably couldn't wait to put it on tonight and show everyone how much money your daddy makes. Yeah, so proud of yourself in your extra fine, creamy white princess sweater.
Get lost, Hood.
Oh, now I'm a hood. Pony boy, what's the difference between a hood and a greaser? I'm curious about that. Are those words even in the dictionary? Hood? Greaser? I bet Soch is in the dictionary. And Soch. Yeah. Tell me something, Cherry. What's really going on under all that cashmere? Do you even know? Is there an actual heart beating in the middle
I
of that
said
print?
beat it.
Oh! I've never seen anyone treat Dahlia like that. She might have been the toughest Soch I ever saw.
Are you two gonna start it on us now?
We don't want no trouble. We came to watch the movie. Ain't it, Johnny?
Yeah, we came for the movie.
Why are you boys hanging around with trash like Dallas Winston? Didn't they just get out of prison?
It wasn't prison, it was county lockup.
Oh, county lockup. In that case, let's throw him a punch party.
Dahlia's okay. He'd leave you alone if he really knew you.
Why don't you boys come sit up front with us? You can protect us.
You're Sherry Valance, ain't you?
Everyone calls me Cherry. And this is Marshall. What's your name?
Who, me?
Yeah, you.
I'm Pony Boy Curtis. This here is Johnny Cade.
Pony Boy Curtis and Johnny Cade. Sounds like a couple of characters from an outlaw movie.
Dang right, that's what it sounds like. That's exactly what it sounds like, ain't it, Johnny?
Outlaws.
Thank you for sticking up for me earlier, Johnny Cade.
Hey, how old are you two?
14. I'll be 15 soon.
Oh, yeah. How soon?
Next July.
Pony Boy, will you be a gentleman and kindly escort me to the concession stand?
When I stood up, it felt like my knees were in my armpits. Can you blame me? Well, I couldn't believe it. Here I was, escorting the prettiest girl in Tulsa, the queen of the Soches, to the concession stand.
What happened to your friend, Johnny?
Last week, 5 Soches jumped him in the park. He was just trying to get home. They pinned him down and put the class wings on, and then they took turns beating on his legs, his arms, and his face. The next day, he couldn't walk right.
Not all those guys are bad.
Your boyfriend was the ringleader.
Johnny must have done something, Pony Boy.
Johnny's not like that. He's a good kid. He was minding his own business. Same thing happened to me yesterday. It's like they're hunting us or something.
Is that what happened to your face?
I mean, look at all these Soches staring at us. Eyes bugging out of their dang heads. You sure you want to be seen talking to a low-life greaser?
I bet you think us Soches have it made. The rich kids. The West Side Soches. Let me tell you something, Pony Boy, and this may come as a surprise. We have troubles you've never even heard of. Things are rough all over.
That's when she told me about her family. How her dad stays out late and comes home drunk.
I just go upstairs and stay in my room.
And how sometimes her mom will just shut herself in the bathroom and run the shower.
I opened the door once. She forgot to lock it. She was just sitting on the floor. She gets sad. And if I don't make the honor roll every quarter, it's like I've committed a mortal sin.
I think we all get sad now and then. Look at that sky.
What about it?
I just like it. How all the colors mix. And they go all pink and gold and stuff. My mom used to study sunsets. She'd sit on the porch every night while the sun was going down.
Why'd she stop?
She ain't around no more.
Did she run off?
My mom didn't run off. She died. My dad died too. Their car got hit by a train.
Oh my gosh, that was your family? I'm so sorry, Pony Boy.
My mom went to go pick up my dad from work, and on their way home, they had to stop off at the bakery because I forgot to pick up this special chocolate frosting for her. I was supposed to pick it up after school. My mom was making my brother Daryl a cake for his birthday. If I would have remembered to pick up that frosting, they wouldn't have had to drive across those train tracks.
Pony Boy, that wasn't your fault.
But if I had remembered to go to the bakery,
You weren't the one driving that train.
sometimes I just feel like that kid, Pip, in Great Expectations. Tough luck at every turn. Always trying to make it.
You've read Great Expectations.
I'm reading it now. I love books. Now, if you want to know the truth, I'm generally an artistic person.
You know, Pip is a survivor.
Yeah?
He makes it through some pretty difficult times, and in the end, he gets his heart's desire.
I gotta finish it.
I was under the impression you'd never read a book at all. Too wrapped up in your aggression, out on the street and fighting brawls. And now you're talking about the sunset and how the colors turn bright. Suddenly it seems that I could talk to you for hours, but these hours go like minutes. I could talk to you all night. I'll never talk like this with socials. We keep our feelings to ourselves. I tell my friends I like their parties, wishing I was somewhere else.
I know exactly what you're saying. You've gotta fake it to belong. I'd rather breathe than fight or rumble, but creatures have to go alone. It's like you're always just pretending. It's just a part you have to play. Feels like this pressure's never ending. There's gotta be a better way. But with you it feels so simple. Something about this feels right. Suddenly it seems I can talk to you for hours. like that, the movie was over. We talked so dang much, I didn't even catch the end. It felt like the muscles in my stomach and chest and heart were going doggone crazy. Like some mysterious electric current had been let loose in me. It was the first time in my life anyone actually listened to me like that.
Suddenly it seems I could talk to you for hours, but these hours go like minutes. I could talk to you harder.
Cherry! What the hell are you doing hanging around this ignorant piece of shit?
Stop it, Bob!
Hey, is there a problem? Robert? You greasers don't know where your damn place is. O.P. Taylor here was moving in on my lady.
We were just talking.
You were just talking? Is that what that was? Cherry, get in the car.
How much have you had to drink?
Enough to know we're done here.
It's pretty clear the lady doesn't want to ride with you, Prom King.
You want to fight? Just me and you? Man to man. Step up to the line, Sugarbush.
Enough! I'm not going anywhere with anybody.
Sherry Elaine Valance, get in the car!
Bob, we're done!
What do you mean we're done? What does that even mean?
It means she's done, Bob.
He's shit, Marcia!
Stop it! Just stop! It's over, okay, Bob? This is over!
Did you just break up with me? Is that what just happened? Cherry, get in the car. Now! You're fucking dead, loser!
Let's get out of here.
Pony boy, if I don't say hi to you at school, don't take it the wrong way.
Yeah, that didn't feel too good, I'm not gonna lie. And on top of everything else, I was late as hell. Come on!
Damn it, it's after midnight. It's past his goddamn curfew. He probably got up to no good with Dally.
Yeah, they probably got nabbed holding up First National Bank. Who would have thought there's been a truly dangerous outlaw right under our roof all these years? Let's call the
I'm
feds.
serious, goddammit! Where the heck were you?
Out
Out where?
in the world.
Don't be smart with me, pony boy.
We were at the drive.
Please tell me you didn't get into it with no socials.
You didn't get into nothing with nobody, Daryl, I swear. A girl started talking to him, he was just being polite.
What girl?
Her name is Cherry Valance.
No shit. That's a Soch girl. Okay. Did you get her phone number?
I don't care how many goddamn girls he talked to, Soda. I suppose it never occurred to you. Your brothers may be at home, worrying their damn heads off about you.
Can you just lay off me this one time? You act like I set the dang house on fire.
Damn it, I've had it. I'm done trying to please you.
Settle down now, Daryl.
Who the hell do you boys think is gonna feed you?
You're gonna get yourself all worked up again.
I'm getting tired of feeling unappreciated.
I'll fold the laundry. I'll fold all of it.
Taking care of family is feeling overrated. I gave so much away. I get nothing in return. You don't tell me when you're coming home late. Eat my food, do you even have a clue that all you do is take every dollar that I earn? I try to keep you from the fire, but it's me who's getting burned. You'd think by now I'd learn.
It ain't my fault that you hate your dang life.
I hate that bastard. Swear to God, I hate him, Johnny. Thinks he's so high and mighty. He probably didn't mean to do it, Pony Boy. Tell that to my jaw. At least you got brothers who act like they care. I wish I had someone to holler at me like that. Sometimes, I wish I'd just disappear. Like, I could just press a button.
You don't mean that.
I do mean it, Pony Boy. I think about it a lot.
You ever think about just getting out of here?
But where we go? Them big Tulsa skyscrapers might as well be mountains.
Far away from Tulsa, way outside of town, where people can be people and nobody puts you down, just because they don't want you around. It's far out in the country, blue skies overhead. I've seen it in the movies and in the books I've read. This place is real, it's not just in my head. This town is a dead-end road. Let's leave this behind. Let's just get up and go. Find a new place to call home. Make a new life we can call our own. Someplace where we can be free. Free to decide who you wanna be. It's all becoming clear. A place with open spaces, the sounds of whippoorwills. We could watch the sunset over golden rolling hills. A house with flowers on the windowsill.
And you could read our stories, and outside in the yard, we'd have ourselves a garden, but we wouldn't work too hard. And every night we'd stare up at the stars.
This town is a dead home. Let's leave this behind. Let's just get up and go. Find a new place to call home. Make a new life we can call our own. Someplace where we can be free. Free to decide who we wanna be. It's all becoming clear.
Sit around the fire after every day was through. We'd be each other's family pony, start this life anew.
This could be a chance to have a place to rest your head. You'd wake up every morning in a big old feather bed, like the house of Riding Dickens, where the walls are crumbling down. I'm tired of idly watching as we're reaching towards the ground. Pony boy, you're just a dreamer, that's what both my brothers say. But it's all there for the taking, just to live a faithful life. Great expectations, great expectations, great expectations, great expectations. It's all becoming clear. There's no way we're going to find that
You really gonna do this? Heck yes! You wanna move in on my girl, Greaser? Who the hell do you think you are? Nobody. You're damn right. You're nobody. You're not even a person. And you're never gonna be one either. Cherry was only talking to you because she felt sorry for your pitiful ass.
Y'all, your territory!
Territory? You probably can't even spell territory. You know what a greaser is, Paul?
What, Bob?
Tulsa trash with long hair. You know what a socialist, Johnny?
What, Pony Boy?
Tulsa trash with Mustangs and mattress. Put him in the water, boys!
And now it's time to meet your maker, Greaser. Pony Boy, we gotta get out of here. Pony Boy!
Before we knew it, we were at Buck Merrill's asking for Dally. Things were so crazy that I don't even know how we got there. I just remember that red light glowing in the window.
We messed up, Dad. We messed up bad.
What the hell happened? He stuck him in the back. He stuck him in the back. He stuck him in the back.
Slow down! Who stuck who in the back?
We are walking through the park tonight, just trying to get home. The socialists came and picked a fight, it got out of control.
They had me underwater, they were gonna take my life. I completely went unconscious. When I came to, there was Johnny with his knife. Come on in, you're soaking wet. You must be freezing cold. Did anybody see? No, we did not see a soul. We didn't know where else to go. We had to come to you. Dally, please, just tell us what to do. Run, run, brother, you gotta get out while you can. Run, take cover, I'm gonna come up with a plan. I hate to make you go, but there ain't no other way. Even though it kills me to say, run, run, brother. There's a train, the 315 is leaving pretty soon. All I got is $50 that ought to get you through. And when you get to Winthrupsville, you take the old dirt road. There's an old man church, perfect place to lay low. Buy some food and wait for me, might take a couple days, but I won't leave you hanging. We'll get through this, now you best be on your way. Run, run.
so I gotta say it. I have no idea where they went.
Even as an accessory, your brother could get murdered one. Do you even understand that? Now I know you've heard of the electric chair.
Pony Boy ain't the murderer.
Then he needs to come in and clear his name. Someone else must have seen those boys last night. Think hard now. Who else might have been there?
All I know is they went to the drive-in.
Was anyone else with them? Okay, I'll make it easy for you. Are you sure one of your greaser friends wasn't there? You know who I'm talking about. Put out a call to bring Dallas in. That Winston boy with the crooked grin. If there's anything he knows, I'm gonna get it out of him.
I got no clue where they could be. And why the hell you asking me? Even if I knew, wouldn't give them up to you. If you're turning up the heat, I done more hotter shit than you. When the struggle on the right side of town, it's me and all my boys are shaking down. Well, I have nothing for you. Why don't you just get lost? Why don't you ask the socials why the line got crossed?
Justice for Tulsa. Do what you have to.
Jesus Christmas, that's us.
You're damn right it's us. And if we're gonna stay ahead of the law, we gotta change up our look.
How the heck are we supposed to do that?
Hydrogen peroxide.
What's it for?
We're gonna bleach your hair.
My hair? What about your hair?
It won't look right on me. Besides, if we both do it, we'll stick out even more. We should probably cut it first.
With what? There's still blood on it.
Could this have gone a different way? Can't believe I'm standing here today. But you never did the things you should. Even so, I know your heart was good. When it was only secret you could never share. The part of you that truly cared.
This can't be real. He can't be God. And I don't know how we just carry on. This could have happened to anyone, but here we are. Can't be undone.
What have we done?
We were only having fun.
You were only having fun.
We were only having fun. Just hanging out, just horsing around, doing what we've always done.
Bob was drinking, you were drinking too. Now tell me what's so fun about a fight that's 5 on 2? What do you think that boy was gonna do? He lived his life scared to death after what you put him through.
Bob went crazy when he saw you with that greaser kid. You held his hand at the concession stand. I saw it all, you know just what you did.
You guys were wild that night, out looking for a fight. The two of us just stayed behind. You couldn't stand to leave those boys alone.
Only holding hands. I don't think you understand. Bob was not a jealous man. Jerry, what you did that night was wrong.
You should be as mad as me at the senseless tragedy. Bob didn't need to die.
The creatures crossed the line. that's at my door. It's calling my name. It's been here before, and it never leaves easy. It's always the same. One by one, I'm losing everyone. Wherever I go, it's all that I see. There's death at my door, and I swear that it's following me. Johnny, can't you see I brought this on?
What the heck are you talking about? That's crazy.
I mean it, Johnny. It's like I curse everyone I care about. You should move on. Better off without me. Death's shadow is long, and it grows all around me. Pony on, you ain't leaving without me. I don't believe for a minute any of this nonsense you're saying. Every single word is true. I had no reason to live back in Tulsa. Sadness was all that I knew. I don't believe in the death that you're bringing. The reason I'm living is you. Wherever you go, that's where I'll be. Even if death has all that old mine, it's still me. I'll never leave you alone. I'll never leave you alone. I'll never leave you alone.
Daryl, I promise you, nobody's gonna find me.
Dally, I'm not playing your games tonight. Where is my brother?
Daryl told me about this a while after everything happened. It took a long time for him to finally get it off his chest.
Just trust me, okay?
And why the hell should I trust you?
Because I think of Ponyboy and Johnny like my own flesh and blood.
You're not the one that has to look after him. You don't put him to bed at night, feed him, wake him up in the morning. All you do is play a role.
Hell, if we're being honest, I spend more time with him than you do.
Maybe because I actually work for a living. Go get a job like a real man, and then you can talk to me about flesh and blood.
I do have a job.
What? You sweep the floor at Buck Merrill's? You pull the chairs off the table? You put them back up at the end of the night? You probably don't even do that. You probably just drink his beer and laugh about it. You con him like you con everyone else.
This ain't my fault, Daryl. I'm not the one who got into it with them socials.
Well, maybe it should have been you. You think you're a good influence on them? You think they look up to you because you got a record? Because you did some time in county lockup? Dallas Winston, ladies and gentlemen, the convict with a heart of gold.
They look up to me because I'm good to them. Because I spend actual time with them. That's why they came to me after what went down at the fountain. I may not look like you,
but what?
You know, I see the way you look at me, out the side of your eye, like I don't belong here, like I'm beneath you. You think I don't feel that? I'm probably more family to Ponyboy than you are.
You better watch your mouth now.
Or what? You like that cop who just busted my face up? Like a bully boss man, no? Then what the hell are you? They wouldn't even be in this mess if it weren't for you. Yeah, Ponyboy told me how you went crazy on him. That's why he ran up to the park. Now you may share Ponyboy's blood, but you're not no real brother. Yeah, it we greasers are just one big happy family, ain't it?
I'm really a mess. Every night I worry myself to sleep while you're watching cartoons. There ain't nothing I can do for you. I know that Pony Boy's really got a damn good heart. Something about him that really could take him far, but I keep holding him down. I've run this family right into the ground. Maybe you'd be best without me. I don't know what else to say. I lost a brother and I lost my way. I think a fool could have done better. Maybe I've been afraid to say that I'm just not cut out for this. Just another failure on a growing list, and it's harder now than ever. It's more than I can take. There ain't no one to bail me out. There ain't no saving this now. I think I'm throwing in the towel. On the days when you feel like you're torn in two, making dinner, paying bills that are overdue. You think that I don't see? Go to hell if it was left up to me. And I don't know what we would do if you were not around. No one to keep the ship afloat when it's going down. There I need you. Anyone can see that Pony does too. Know you love him. It's all you gotta do. I don't know what else to say. Though you feel like you've lost your way, but I think you'll do better. Better than you know. If he comes back, there's a price to pay. What if they lock our brother away? There ain't no way of knowing. We gotta get our brother home. This is the darkest hour of the darkest night. Looking up ahead, he can't see no light. But the time is now or never. There ain't no letting go. You have to like it now. We need you more than ever now. Don't go throwing in the towel. I know your head is full of doubt, but brother, that's what love is all about. Don't go throwing in the towel. Hey, I need you down. Can't lose my big brother too. When you love someone, that's all that you can do. There ain't no throwing in the towel.
Dang. That's some sunrise.
Yeah.
In the mist of the pond, I was saw like gold and silver. Kinda wish it could stay like that forever.
Nothing gold can stay.
Huh?
Nature's first green is gold. Her heart is hue to hold. Her early leaves a flower, but only so an hour. Then leaf subsides to leaf. So Eden sank to grief. So dawn goes down to day. Nothing gold can stay.
What was that?
It's a poem by Robert Frost. We learned it in English class last semester. It's called Nothing Gold Can Stay.
What's it mean?
I don't know.
Life's crazy. Hey,
You're telling me. Do I look like Julie Andrews?
no. You look more like Burt Lancaster and Elmer Gantry.
Burt Lancaster's a sissy and Elmer Gantry's a terrible movie.
Paul Newman then.
No shit.
I swear.
You know, I couldn't have said that poem in front of most people. So they'd probably get it. I could say it in front of him. And Cherry Valance. Maybe I could say it in front of her, too.
You like her. She's pretty as hell.
Yeah, but she's more than that. Now, there's something about her. She's different than all the other socials.
Holy shit, it's Goldilocks and her ugly sister.
Dallas Winston!
There's a bunch of kids down at the bottom of the hill. I think there's some kind of field trip or picnic or something. So I had to sneak around the back. Jesus Christmas, your hair.
Ain't it just terrible?
Yeah, but at least the cops won't recognize you.
Do I look like Julie Andrews?
Nah, you look like Burt Lancaster and Elmer Gantry.
What's going on back in Tulsa, Dow?
The social's been turning the town upside down looking for you two. All-out war has been declared. They're saying whoever wins the Rumble gets to claim the park. The other day, the socials beat the living hell out of 2-Bit. He was just trying to get home and they ganged up on him. You've been laying low, right? Hope you ain't been showing yourselves out there.
We barely go outside, and we only do that when we want water.
Look how skinny you two are. It's only been a week. Ain't you been eating?
Bologna and peanut butter sandwiches.
We polished off all the peanut butter. Johnny damn near ate the jar.
You know, I think of you two like my brothers. I don't have no family back in New York. Never really had to care for anyone else in no real way. Just looked out for myself mostly. But I'd do anything for you two. Like in war, you know, when soldiers are in the trenches and all that. I'd take a bullet for you two.
We think you the same way, Dally. Ain't it, Pony Boy?
Heck yes.
This is for you.
Who's it from?
I'll just read the damn thing. I don't got nothing for you, Johnny Cakes. Sorry.
Pony boy, this house ain't a home without you. Me and Daryl shoot you and Johnny would just come home. Your brother needs you just as much as you need him. And brother, we ain't going too good alone. It's pretty strange seeing your face in the paper. Right there underneath that wanted sign. I know you're laying low, but I just wanted you to know I'm afraid that we are running out of time. Daryl stays up all night long till he finally falls asleep by the telephone. Pony, what's been done is done. There's only so far you can run. I hope that what I'm saying is getting through. I wrote this letter just to say to you, Pony boy, this house ain't a home without you. Sincerely, Soda.
Yes, say hey to Johnny for us. Pony boy, this house ain't a home without you.
We should go back.
Go back where?
To Tulsa.
And do what?
I'll go and turn myself in, and this whole thing will end.
What are you, crazy? Do you want the electric chair?
I was about to drive the three of us up to Iowa. I got a friend in Davenport who said he would take you in. He's got a houseboat. He lives on the Mississippi River, right on the water. Look, I just got a full tank of gas. Got the radio fixed. We hit the road now, we'll be in Davenport by midnight. Huh? What do you say, Johnny Cakes?
I killed that kid. I killed him.
But you had to. He was gonna drown me.
Now you can't even go home. So do Pop and Daryl worried sick about you.
But you never go back. Going back don't never solve nothing. You gotta keep moving. Outlast every last one of them social bastards, and them cop bastards, and them family bastards, and them lady friend bastards. You think when things got bad for me that I went back? You know how many freight trains I've been on? Carve my name into each one with that switchblade in your hand. I ain't never been back to New York City. I ain't never been back to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, or Columbus, Ohio, or Griffith, goddamn Indiana. I kept moving. Like a wolf that gets stronger the farther he travels. And you know what? Even though I don't go back to them places, I've been all over the world. Trouble ain't something you run back to, Johnny. You run away from it like it's a giant goddamn alligator and you keep running until there ain't no more earth. I don't care if you gotta climb over big ancient boulders. You survive and move on. Survive and move on.
I'd like to tell you that we ran out of that church and loaded into Dalley's car and took off for Davenport. I'd like to tell you that Dalley drove faster than the speed limit, and we listened to the radio non-stop and made it there by midnight. But none of that happened. Just as Dalley stood there hollering at us to get the hell out of there, the walls of the church started churning out smoke, like some sort of wild dragon. Out of nowhere, there was a sound of a bunch of kids screaming from somewhere inside all the smoke. It must have been the kids from that picnic down the hill. And my first thought was, I did this. I was the last one to take a drag of that doggone cigarette. Sometimes you make a choice that you have to live with for the rest of your life. And whenever you think about it, you can taste it like something you're forced to eat. The taste never leaves the back of your throat. Something about the sound all those little kids screaming made me rush into those flames.
When I woke up this morning, hungover from the night before, I picked up the paper and my jaw done hit the floor. There were kids trapped in a fire and a couple of heroes came to their aid. I had to look twice at the picture when I saw it. It was Pony Boy and Johnny Cade. I thought them boys were as good as dead, but as it turns out the headline read, Redwoods turned heroes. These greasers are the talk of the town. They ran straight into the fire while that old church was burning down. Just some low-down dirty greasers accused of murder in the first degree. Imagine this, they saved some kids, that's how they got to be. Yeah, that's how they got to be the front page story. Yeah, hoods turned heroes.
The greasers in the paper, you can bet it
look right. It's like that fire made him smaller.
It's my fault. I shouldn't have run in after those kids. There he is. I bet you'd kill for a cigarette. Can't help you there, partner. They wouldn't let us back in here.
I can't feel nothing in the middle of my back.
That's probably where that big beam fell on you.
It's like parts of me are missing.
Everything's still there. I promise. Can we get you anything? Johnny?
Johnny Cakes. I can't stand it, Pony Boy. I just can't. I'm not holding back at the Rumble. I'll snap Asocia's neck if I have to.
Hey, Pony Boy.
Hi.
Can I talk to you outside?
I'm staying right here.
Please don't fight tonight. I went to the police on your and Johnny's behalf. They just cleared your names.
Don't you dare feel sorry for us. So high and mighty, dishing out charity.
It's not charity, Pony Boy. I only want to help.
A battle's raging in my head. I swear your friends, they wanted me dead. I never would have thought before, but the soldiers, they declared this war.
But this war eats you up inside, till you're blinded by your foolish pride. When you only see the world one way, it's only black and white but never gray. One by one we fall in line, the same mistake 1,000 times, doing what we've all been raised to do. Now Johnny's hurt and Bob has died. When will we be satisfied? As long as we keep taking sides, there's no way we can ever right this hopeless war we're fighting, and we don't even know what for. The truth is, even in the end, even if you win, it doesn't change a thing. He will still be the losers, destined to fail. We'll be the lucky ones, got the whole world by the tail. I came to you because I thought you might be the only one who understands. This hopeless war is so completely hopeless in the end.
I can't sit this one out. I just can't.
Come on, boys! Ready your fists, it's time to do what we do! Fight! Do it for Johnny, even the score, it's time to rally the crew! Fight!
Those boys want trouble, and it's on its way. Those boys want trouble, and it's on its way. Fight!
I thought you were done with all this.
Once a greaser, always a greaser. Pony Boy, you need to really think about this. Your mom and dad wouldn't let you fight, not in a million years. Let me fight for you, Pony Boy, please.
Now listen up!
for Johnny.
For Johnny! Those boys want trouble, then it's on its way. Fight! Those boys want trouble, then it's on its way. Fight!
Daryl. Paul. We good on the rules. No blades, no chains, no heaters.
Skin fight's my favorite kind of fight.
Winner rules the park.
You boys take all the girly rings off.
Oh, our hands are clean.
Here's the crazy thing. Daryl and Paul used to be the best of friends. Daryl would even spend the night at his house, a dang West Side Social house.
Still have that purple and gold Madras shirt I gave you? I remember it looked pretty good on you.
Yeah, I still got it. I use it to clean my toilet about twice a week.
We beat the socialists.
We ain't gotta worry about them jumping us no more.
How hell they're leaving for, huh? We really stopped the best of something good.
I wish it was one of us. we could get along okay without any one of us. But not Johnny.
I think he wants to say something.
Pony boy.
Dad. Hey there, Johnny Cakes.
They're still writing editorials about you in the paper. They're calling you a hero, and they're heroizing all the greasers. Yeah, we're all real proud of you, buddy.
Useless. Fighting's no good. Pony boy. Come closer. I can't feel my legs no more. You're the bravest person I know, Johnny. I keep thinking that I cursed you. Stay gold, pony boy. Stay gold. Johnny? Johnny!
That's what you get for trying to help people, you little punk. That's what you get! First they beat us down, one after another. Keep losing ground, nowhere to take cover. They want us out of town. Then who would they beat on? Who would they spit on? Who would they blame it on if we weren't around? Now we'll never go. And we'll never get it back, 'cause the line's been crossed. Little brother, sorry I failed you. I could not save you. No, I can't even save myself. Little brother, they cannot hurt you anymore, and they cannot take any more from me. If I ain't got you, then I ain't got nothing else. If anything was fair, you would still be here. Does anybody care when a greaser disappears? We're never going back. Everything is lost, and we'll never get it back, 'cause the line's been crossed. Sorry.
after him, but once Dallas Winston got a full head of steam, no one could catch him. Not even Soda Pop or Tubin. Dally ran out of the hospital and flew across Southwest Boulevard and started headed toward the train tracks. I thought Dally was gonna jump a boxcar and leave town, just like he'd done hundreds of times before. But that's not what happened.
There's only one way out, I finally see her now. They took the only thing that mattered to me anyhow. That's why I'm standing here, no good to run away. That's all I ever done, but now's the time for me to stay. Do it for all of us, the faces in the crowd. And when they try to shut you up, they'll scream it twice as loud. Do it for Cool and Luke, do it for Jesse James. Do it for all the unsung heroes who don't know their names. Do it for Pony Boy, do it for Johnny Cage. Don't leave a stone unturned, don't leave a dead in pain. Johnny, I am coming home, come and take my final bow. Hope you save this thing for me, Johnny, can you see me now?
By the time we got there, the eastbound Cherokee subfreighter had already blown through him. He left his t-shirt next to the tracks. I picked it up because it didn't look right lying there like that. It was still warm with his sweat. You could smell the cigarettes he always smoked. Winston's. The train derailed shortly after the collision. You'd figure the body of a boy wouldn't cause a big mighty freight train to do that, but it did, because Dally wasn't just any boy. Sometimes I think about him standing in front of that big train engine. How he probably squared up his shoulders and dug his heels into the gravel. And how for a few seconds he might have felt pure again. I'd like to believe that maybe the smallest parts of him made it all the way back to New York City. Maybe the dust of his soul is still on the front of that freight train. The truest bits of Dallas Winston. They buried what was left of him in Oak Lawn Cemetery, right here in Tulsa. Exactly 27 steps from where they buried Johnny Cade. Both of their tombstones were pretty small. They didn't even bother putting the day they were born on them. Just the year they died. Dallas Winston, 1967. Johnny Cade, 1967.
Pony Boy. Hey, little brother. Food's getting cold.
Earth to Pony Boy.
You gonna join us tonight? Soda set a place for you. Pony Boy, you can't watch cartoons for the rest of your life.
Hey, come on. Eat something, Pony Boy. Daryl made hamburger mystery surprise and he put bologna and peas in it.
Starting tomorrow, you're getting out of this funk and you're gonna start going to school again. Pony Boy, our friends are dead and we're all broken up about it. It ain't never gonna not be that way. But it's been over 2 weeks, you're still acting like a dang zombie.
Pony Boy, I hated school. I hated more than anything. I had no business even being there. But you love school, and you're good at it.
So does Wright. You have a gift. You got something that nobody else in this house has. Pony Boy, Dally's dead because he gave up. you can't give up too.
Shut up.
And Johnny died a hero because he ran in after them kids, but he's dead.
Shut up!
He's dead!
Shut up!
He's dead! He's
Shut
dead!
up!
He's
Shut up!
dead!
Shut up!
Please stop fighting! I can't stand this anymore! It's tearing us apart! And we're all we got left! If we don't got each other, then we don't got nothing. And when you don't got nothing, you wind up bitter and lost and always asking for trouble. That's worse than being dead. Tony, well, you gotta go back to school and graduate. It's just 2 more years, and then you're gonna be the first Curtis boy to go to college. And you know what? Me and Soda are gonna pay for it because we got your back. Because you're our little brother, and we love you. Do you hear what I just said? I said I love you. And we lost Mom, and we lost Dad, and we ain't ever gonna get over that, but I'll be damned to hell if I'm gonna lose you too. That just ain't gonna happen. Ain't that right, Soda?
It ain't happening. No way in hell.
Hi, Daryl. Soda Pop.
Hey,
This is Johnny's stuff. Apparently his mom never stopped by the hospital to pick it up. I started volunteering there a few weeks ago. It was sitting right next to the lost and found box. I thought Ponyboy should have it. Hey, Ponyboy. There's an envelope in the pocket of Johnny's jeans. It has your name on it. I think he wrote you a letter. The nurse must have written it out for him. I was looking at the sunset last night. It made me think of you. Did you see it? It was so pretty how the colors were all mixed up. Okay. I'll leave you alone. Take care of yourself, Ponyboy. Bye.
bye.
You ain't even gonna read it? Ponyboy, I asked the nurse to give you this. The doctor came in a while ago, but I knew anyway. I keep getting tireder and tireder.
I have had some time for thinking. Swore I wasn't ready to die. Turns out I was wrong. I sound crazy, but hear me out. It may take me to the grave, but I know what your poem's about. I've seen a pool of blood run crimson red, and I've seen the sunrise coming overhead. Finding beauty in the fall is the only way to keep from growing old. My friend, stay gold. When you're young, the world is new.
I've saved his daughter's life. I'd do it all again, 'cause I found the beauty in the fall. My friend, stay home. Looking back at the life I've had, I hold on to the good, 'cause I made my peace with all the bad. 16 years, look at all we've done. Wouldn't trade it for the world, can't you see that we're the lucky ones? I have known love that many never known, and that love lives on no matter where I go. We all meet again, no matter if we meet in young or old. My friend, stay home.
There's still a lot of time to make yourself what you want, Pony Boy. There's still a whole lot of good in the world. Tell Dally. I don't think he knows.
Finding beauty in the fold is the only way to keep from growing old. My friend, stay gold. My friend, stay gold. Can I just say one thing? I love being a greaser, and I love greasers. But I ain't just a greaser. I got a lot more inside of me than just grease.
Okay.
Is that okay with you two?
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Can I try the green beans?
Soda, serve him some green beans.
Hey, Pony Boy. What were you in there writing about?
Tulsa.
What about Tulsa?
Just the type of stuff that happens here.
So it's like a story?
I think it might be. Yeah.
Am I in it?
I don't know yet. Maybe. Daryl might be in it too.
Oh, great. Just make sure to give me fantastic hair.
Pretty much everyone's gonna be in it.
Pony, why don't you read us what you wrote?
Man, I don't know. It's only a couple of paragraphs. It's probably terrible.
Can I read it?
Really?
Can I?
When I stepped out into the bright sunlight from the darkness of the movie house, I had only two things on my mind: Paul Newman and a ride home. I was wishing I looked like Paul Newman. He looks tough and I don't. But I guess my own looks aren't so bad. I have light brown, almost red hair and greenish gray eyes. I wish they were more gray because I hate most guys that have green eyes, but I have to be content with what I have.
I've never been out at Tulsa before. I wonder what it would be like. I've never known anybody to leave. Most people get stuck here for life. I used to glorify how Kool-Aid Luke was free. He wasn't tied to anything. I used to idolize the actors on the screen. I looked at Newman like a king. And now I look at what my brothers do for me. They're the reason that I'm standing here right now. One thing is certain, I can say without a doubt, those heroes paved the way so I could finally make it out. Daryl, you're the toughest guy I know. Just took me way too long to see. So do you, this family's heart and soul. Can you imagine how proud Mom and Dad would be?
I can picture hundreds and hundreds of boys living on the wrong side of cities. Boys with black eyes who jumped at their own shadows. Hundreds of boys who maybe watched sunsets and looked at stars and ached for something better.
And now I'm thinking about the Dallies of the world, always on the outside looking in. Bruises on their eyes, wearing grease for their disguise, trying to look tough so they're not beating down again. Everybody loves to judge us, but nobody lends a hand. They see grease and dirty clothes, they never try to understand that we all come from different places, we all start from different minds. And when they hear our story, maybe we can change their minds. I wondered for a long time how to start writing about something that was important to me. And I finally began like this. This is Tulsa, 1967. Hey, let's tell this preacher story.